You are once again welcome to Evangelist Nyimakalu TV, Treasury of Excellent Knowledge. This is part 20 of Prioritizing Godliness. And the caption is Progressive Leadership. Progressive leadership. A lot of us know what leadership is all about. Leadership is being in charge, being in control, and having the authority to directing self and others. But by experience, we have progressive leadership, we have non-progressive leadership. Everywhere, all around the world, in all of the institutions, and the church being our contextual example to this effect. Leadership determines the progress or the backwardness of every institution. Even the Bible says that when the righteous is in authority, the people rejoice, but the people also mourn when the wicked is in authority. The Bible says that righteousness exalts a nation, but sins are reproached. The Bible says, where there is no law, the people perish, where there is no vision, the people perish, but where there is law, there is always progress. All these things has to do with leadership. When we have visionary leadership, of a visionary leaders leading, righteous leaders leading, and the leader is leading by a good example. The righteous leader must lead himself first to be righteous, then begin to authorize and direct others to follow suit on the line of righteousness. When unrighteous leader is in authority, he also leads by unrighteous example, by wicked example, and he surrounds himself with wicked advisors, wicked supporters, selfish advisors, supporters, and sycophants, those who will help him to promote his wickedness because of their selfish interest, and in the process they will not concentrate to develop the moral and societal progress of the people. And some of the followers, looking upon the wicked leaders, choose to become wicked on their own, even outside of the governmental circle. Likewise, it is with the righteous in authority. Leadership is influential. Leadership is dominant in every society. We know that even when there are righteous leaders in authority, all of the followers will not be righteous. There are people who have deliberately chosen to be unrighteous in different ways. But we are talking about the leaders setting the good example. Even when Jesus Christ was on earth, he led with good example in regard to Christianity and his movement in discipleship and whatever. But everybody around him never wanted to follow his pattern. Yet his pattern was influential and continued to progress. And it is still influential and progressing through those who still abide by the principles of Jesus Christ. The text for this part 20 of Prioritizing Righteousness, of which caption is Progressive Leadership, the text is 2 Corinthians chapter 1 verse 24, which says, "Not that we lord it over your faith, but are workers with you for your joy. For in your faith you are standing firm." This is a statement of Apostle Paul. Apostle Paul was a leader. An apostle is a leader. An evangelist is a leader. A prophet is a leader. A teacher is a leader. A pastor is a leader. There are other subordinate leaders in the church, but Apostle Paul here is our case example. While there was a vulnerable situation in the church of Corinth, Apostle Paul began to address the vulnerable situation, disunity, politics in the church, gossip, criticism, that is non-constructive criticism, which is slandering, different kinds of dissension, division, jealousy, envy, selfishness. All of these things were happening in the churches of the old. But here, the church in Corinth is the case example. Apostle Paul began to address that matter, and it was so painful to him. And by the grace of God, while he left Corinth to go to Macedonia, he was still demanding that the people keep on to his mentoring, his teaching pattern, and his aim was for the progress of the church as a leader, and he led by good example. And the report came to him that finally that the people had begun to amend their ways, reconciling among themselves, and there had begun to be progress in that church in regard to spiritual and moral virtues. So while the report got to him, he began to appreciate, and that is the reason he wrote a letter which makes up the chapter 2, which makes he wrote a letter which makes up the chapter 1, the chapter 1 of 2 Corinthians, and this is from verse 24. So his statement here, I said that it make the church know, to understand that the reason he was addressing them, he was pointing at their errors, and was bringing the principles of change, was never to lord it over them. It was not to impose his own choice or his own ego and pride and authority over them, so that nobody will understand it that way. Because even in the progress of the church, some people will misunderstand. Some people will think that they are just being forced, or Apostle Paul is just being selfish. Many people will misinterpret it to be control in psychology, what is called narcissism. So Apostle Paul was not a narcissistic. He was not just a self-centered person. That is what he was explaining. Like the rest of the apostle and his Apostle Paul's direct comrades. He said it is not about lording it over you, the church of Corinth. And as it has come to become a part of the Bible, it is not about lording it over anybody, over any church, but it is according to the purpose of his calling. His calling is to bring progress, to lead by good example, and to see the progress of every institution which he come in contact with, and most especially the institution he had established through the empowerment of Jesus Christ, and that is institution becomes the church. So we are also required to be progressive leaders, to bring in a progressive leadership in all of our institutions. We as Christians, starting from the church, all of us are not apostles, neither all of us are evangelists, teachers, prophets, or pastors, according to the fivefold ministry of the church. But a lot of us are leaders in different categories. In the subordinate categories, we have men leaders, we have women leaders, we have youth leaders, choir leaders. All of the departments, they have their leaders. Beside that, all of us have our families. We have our families where we come from. We have parents. Some of us are parents as well, because some of us have given birth to children. How do we lead in the high and the lower level of leadership? Are we leading progressively, or are we leading retrogressively? It is important that the way we lead has impact to create in the life of the institution, either to bring setback through our leadership or to bring progress through our leadership. So also we should bear in mind that being a progressive leader does not nullify criticism completely. People will always criticize, and that is one of the reasons Apostle Paul was explaining. No matter how good your leadership may be, people will always criticize, because there are people who will not just understand the benefits of good leadership, since that good leadership stops them from achieving their selfish interest in the church, in the family, in the school, in the business sectors, in politics, whatever it may be, any kind of institution. There are people who are so selfish that even the progress, even to the extent they criticize and they condemn those who introduce a progressive leadership, because the leadership will always stop them from achieving their selfish interest. So the case example is some of the African government, Nigeria to be precise, Nigerian government to be precise, in a situation whereby people, even most of the leaders, are not there for the progress of the country. They are not there for the progress of the people. A lot of them are there for their selfish interest, and that makes the country to be experiencing non-progressive leadership. There is no development. They do not develop the people. They do not develop the society infrastructurally. We have to see the issue of insecurity even being funded by those who are the leaders. Some of those who are the leaders, and those who are the top leaders, like the president and others, cannot even stand on their ground to arrest and stop both those who sponsor the terrorism and the terrorists themselves. So all of this kind of issue, some of us who are in diaspora, we can enjoy at least a certain stage of good security in our environments, and this is one of the benefits of progressive leadership. The plan of the government, no matter they may not be so good, but at least they still have the benefits of the people in mind, and that is how their government system is run. And because of this secret, an average person in the diaspora who is able to move and to work even without academic degree and whatever, can just start life with his physical or her physical energy and begin to serve in a restaurant and whatever factory, and the person will begin to earn his or her living and begin to care for himself and for herself. It is because of the progressive leadership that make the Western world that in a family of 6, as far as every person had reached up to 18 years, every person is entitled to go and look for a job. If not, if the person has no money, or the family has no money to train the person in the university, the person can just go first from 18 years and become a independent, not to fully depend on the parents anymore, on the family, and the person begins to work, because they try to plan things so that even the common person can look for a job and get a job and start his or her life from there. All these things are progressive leadership, which is in contrasting to the experience we have in Africa. In Africa, it is very, very tough, and more especially in Nigeria. That is the reason, irrespective of all of the resources, mineral resources we have in Nigeria, Nigeria is regarded to be one of the poorest countries in the whole world. So progressive leadership is very, very important. It brings progress to the people, and progressive leadership or retrogressive leadership can be generational. It is something we must focus on and to improve in every area of our leadership, no matter the category, no matter the institution. May God bless you. Remember my book, Understanding and Executing Righteousness. This is my master textbook with with 40 chapters and over 800 pages. So you buy it. Every family should have this book. This book has a chapter that talks about leadership. It is from there you will understand leadership in a better detail. So it is very, very important. Not only the 40 chapters, I'm just talking about one chapter on leadership, but it has a 40 chapter. It is a book that reflects on every area of life for progress, understanding and executing righteousness. I have other books. They are online in Amazon and other means, other platform. Anywhere you find them, it is with my name, Inimakalo, Sacred Soldier. All of them are there. So it is about education. They are for educational purpose, to the glory of God and for the progressive human affair. You remember, I am an evangelist. I am an evangelical author, and I am a human capital developer. I am into human capital development. I can develop people, anybody at all, to become something valuable and marketable. May God bless you until I come your way once again. I remain your serviceable servant, evangelist Inimakalo.